Brought to you by patreon.com/inspireddisorder and inspireddisorder.com/music.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Cadaver, a Norwegian film, horror film. It's Halloween, by the way. Happy Halloween to everybody. But yeah, Cadaver on Netflix, a Norwegian film, independent horror film. Decided to throw it on, looking for a horror film to talk about on the horror film day of the days, the time that Halloween inspires horror and monsters and things like that. So I decided to put it on. This is a movie takes place during a post-apocalyptic time after a nuclear disaster. There's famine, widespread famine, and there's this dinner theater that's putting on a presentation where you go and you get a free meal. So it brings a lot of people in. You get a free meal, and you get to watch this dinner theater thing. So there's this family, father, wife, husband, I should say, and a daughter. The wife, a former actress herself, or at least, you see clippings of, when she was an actress. So they decide to go to this dinner theater. And, after they eat, the theater starts, and the audience is given masks. So to distinguish, like this giant, like estate, this giant mansion is where the dinner theater is held. And the audience is given masks, and that's how you distinguish who's an actor and who's in the audience. The audience is wearing these like gold masks, and the actors are not. And then you get up and you kind of just follow the actors as you just follow them around. It was interesting, like an interesting premise in general. I've heard of dinner theater. I've never been to one, but this one's more of like an interactive type of one where they're going through all these hallways and stuff, and like crazy things start to happen. Of course, you find out that the actors are encouraged to be interesting, to draw more people with them, to get them to follow them more. And the whole movie itself, I find to be, I mean, it's a very kind of simple movie. People start disappearing. The daughter they lose sight of their daughter, and the husband and wife are scrambling to try and find her, and they're like seeing like weird things, like people are disappearing through walls, and they're not really seeing any of the audience members anymore, and like just crazy things are starting to happen while they're trying to find their daughter. And the whole thing, I would say, as I'm watching it, you kind of realize that this whole movie is a metaphor for kind of the government, right? Where the government is, I mean, it's going to be hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it a bit. I did enjoy the movie overall. I thought it had some problems. I thought it could have been done a little bit better. The acting was great. The idea was very interesting. The premise of the movie is very interesting. But the whole movie is a giant metaphor for the government is the basically the theater manager is like the president, and then the actors are like the people in the government. And they lure in the people with like a free meal. They offer like this gesture of them, like the idea that they're giving to the people, while all in a while that you find out that the people are being lured there to being captured, and then basic spoilers, turned into food. Okay. So you kind of find out that everything is fake. Like they go in, and like as like you're following the wife, and she's kind of the main character of the whole thing, and she starts to see that like things are weird, and she starts seeing the seams in everything that's happening, and she starts to see that a lot of this stuff is fake, and that like there's the part where like the audience, some of the audience members are walking through a kitchen that's like full of food, and that's like the food that they were given. But comes to be like there's another time where she walks through the kitchen and she sees that all the food is just cardboard cutouts, very similar to like North Korea. Like North Korea has this like big facade of having a ton of food, but most of their grocery stores are fake, and it's all make believe. And I guess it would be for like a communist government in a way. The metaphor for this movie is a metaphor for that, where it's like you have this false false sense of security that the government's going to take care of you. Meanwhile, they're just using you as fuel to kind of keep their machine going. And so you find out that like people are, because they eventually take off their masks, right? Because their daughter's lost and they're like freaking out, things are happening, and they take their masks off and they forget their masks. So once you forget your mask, like you can't tell. That's how you know if you're an actor or an audience member. So when they do that, they're almost able to see behind the curtains. And that's what this movie is about. This movie is about this character who is like pulling back the curtains in a way, in a metaphorical way, or in a literal way in some ways as well, and kind of exposing the illusion of what's going on. And she sees that, you know, the food that they're eating is really just the bodies of the people of audience members that got trapped before. And some audience members get convinced to become part of the actors. They get convinced to become part of the quote unquote government, to despite, like, there's a scene where the lead guy, the guy that puts on these plays, is telling these actors, like, I know you're friends with some of these people. That's why we have them wear masks, so it's easier. But it's also they have the masks, so it's easier to identify who the people are that we need to get. And they find like these underbellies, like secret passageways where they have these guys in white coats that trap the people and take them back to the butcher place where they chop them up and everything. And it's just really interesting. It's really interesting how she's able to kind of, once she sees what's going on, she also understands she used to be an actress, right? And the whole idea of how this place works is that the actors have to be like, they have to be interesting enough to have people follow them. And the more people that the actors are able to get to trap because of how interesting they are, they have that kind of a power. And she realizes that she has that power, being a former actress herself. And she basically, like, she uncovers the situation, and she's able to, because she's not wearing a mask, she's looked at as one of the actors, and she becomes a more interesting part of what's going on in this mansion. And she gets a group of people, a large group of the audience, to follow her. And what she does is she takes the audience behind the scenes to show them how fake she shows them the reality that they're living in. She shows the audience that they're not there to be entertained, they're there to be the food. They're there to be captured, they're there to be processed into food, and they're there to sustain the actors that are living there. And there's also a scene where she's like fighting with her husband. Her husband was like convinced like to join them because their daughter reminded the lead actor guy, the guy that's putting on the play, the director, of his daughter that died a long time ago. So because their daughter, he's like trying to convince them to be part of it. And probably because she's a well-known actress, or she used to be, like, to get her to be part of it. But meanwhile, she's like, fuck this. She's leading the rebellion, which is a really cool moment. It's a really cool moment where she understands the power that she has. That it's also mentioned many times that the audience outnumbers the actors, which is true in society. Like, society well outnumbers the people in charge of society. Whether you're in a communist government or in the United States of America, and you're seeing the power of what happens when the majority of people get together and they say, and they call bullshit. And you're seeing you're seeing her transform, and seeing that she has this power to lead people and to show people that what the reality is in the situation. And kind of removes the veil from the what's going on in that mansion. And then the end kind of is a weird thing, like after she kind of exposes stuff, and the audience fights back and kind of eliminates the people that are running this theater. They go out into the real world. That is it's this post-apocalyptic thing, and you're seeing dead bodies everywhere. And you're just like, it's just kind of this thing where there is no guarantee out there of how she's going to take care of her daughter. Now that she's, that there's that one, there's like this scene where she looks back on the mansion far away, and she sees how, like, like the thing that could have been, like this thing that was supposed to offer, like, at least a break from reality. Like, they were given this meal for free and this entertainment for free, but it ended up being something. It ended up being wolf tickets. It ended up being fake. It ended up being just another way to control humans. And having a freedom in a post-apocalyptic world is better than being part of a system that just chews people up and spits them out, almost literally. So the metaphor of the movie, I really enjoyed. The movie itself was good, but I think there were some parts of the movie where, like, there's visually, like, she starts to see her daughter in a lot of places, but there's no real explanation. It has like these kind of supernatural elements that don't really get explained because there is no real supernatural element to it. It's just all trapdoors and stuff. But I enjoyed it. It's an interesting movie, and interesting. Obviously, seeing movies from other countries, they always have different takes on things, and kind of have their own way of explaining, and kind of delivering their stories. But yeah, Cadaver, pretty interesting movie. If you're looking for something new to watch on Halloween. I know I spoiled it for you, but it is a fun movie. If you want to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/inspired disorder. Become a patron for only $3 a month. You get to binge the full week of the Ray Taylor Show ad-free in both video and audio versions. You get a coupon code if you want to start collecting the many faces, and you can download the raw Photoshop files for all the Photoshops I do. It's only $3 a month. You get those benefits and even more. So head on over to patreon.com/inspired disorder and sign up now. Also, if you want to get unlimited free music streamed to all your devices, join Amazon Music Unlimited free 30-day trial when you use my link inspireddisorder.com/music. That's 60 million songs. You can cancel at any time. Like I said, stream to all your devices. Sign up now for your 30-day free trial over at inspireddisorder.com/music. New episodes come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!